Hey everyone, hello. I'm popping on to my Craft Round the Clock segment, and you're also finding me on Tinker's Card Art, so welcome. We're going to get started in a few minutes. We're going to be painting a cool galvanized bucket with an Easter theme. What goes better, right? Like an Easter basket kind of idea. So as you guys pop on, say hello, and I'd love to know where you're watching from today. It is Friday. I cannot believe Friday is around again already, you guys. That's just crazy talk, but here we are, and it's such a fun theme today with the repurposing of buckets. So many great presenters already this morning. Hello, Tracy. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here today, and welcome, you guys. I am a little kind of discombobulated because yet again I lost my personal Facebook page after the shutdown on Tuesday, and I have not been able to get back in. So I created a new account so that I could be here and access my business page again. So thank you guys. Hi Sandra, it's so nice to see you. And I love repurposing things. So I was at some yard sales, a big cool community had yard sales on Saturday, and knowing I had to do bucket day today, I was keeping my eyes peeled, and I found kind of an old Eastery sand pail I was going to do. And then I found this really beautiful, I've got it pretty well covered up, but I'll show you after. Hey Deb, it's a beautiful galvanized bucket. It had a little saying on it. What I did is I gessoed over the beginning of it. I got a little bit of a head start. Hello Deb and Mary, happy Friday. And just a couple coats of gesso on the middle. I just went now and just put some tape on the edge so that I don't overlap. I want the galvanized metal part to show. It was so beautiful. I didn't want to paint the whole bucket. So we're going to peel it off. We're going to have galvanized metal on the top and bottom. I started putting a quick little pink background on. And what I'm going to do is paint the front of the bucket for you, and you can carry that design right around. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Karen, hello. Say hello. Give me a emoji and tell me where you're watching from. West Virginia, Vicky. Hi. Good morning, everyone. Sue. Thank you. And Sue's from Heartful Life. So please, as you see our other presenters pop on here, I'm hoping they put their business page in their comment, and please go ahead and follow. I would love that. So I'm going to just get one more little quick coat of a background, and we're going to paint our bunny. I have just done, you can see behind me, I have done this door leaner last year with this funky carrot. And on another segment last week, we did this little repurposed, it was just a wood cutout from Dollar Tree. So I love painting these funky designs on the carrots, and I started this during our segment, and I still haven't finished, but I'm working on it. I'm going to paint this little carrot from Dollar Tree. It was a fabric carrot. It was an orange polka dot carrot. I put gesso on that, painted it orange, and I'm going to paint it to look like this. And what I thought maybe, wouldn't a little grouping of them in the bucket maybe look cute too? So we're going to try that at the end and see what we come up with. Oh, Deb, yes, you are. I do know that. Thank you. I do remember some things. And we always have lots of Cheryl, so good morning, Cheryl. Thank you, guys. Oh, first time, Carol, and welcome. And you guys, because I have so much trouble, 3 years ago, I completely lost my personal page, and luckily I keep my husband and a good friend as an admin on this business page, so I can always get back in. But in the link, in the description, you have a link to my private community, and I would love for you to join me over there. I really panicked this week. I could not access my page at all. I canceled my live from the other day. Luckily, I got in today and are with you, but I would love it. I have a free community off of this platform where I have complete control over it. So it's in the description. I will also post it in the comments, and if you would hop over there and jump onto that community too, I will not lose you if, again, something happens with where we are today. So I'm going to quickly just put that link there. And again, I would appreciate that. Let's get going. I have a painting that I am doing in a few weeks with my art membership, this little Easter Bunny painting. So what I'm going to kind of do on this is just kind of paint the Easter Bunny's face with a little bow tie, maybe some flowers on his head, and then I've got a fun floral border around the bottom. Just quick, big, loosely painted florals, but that's why I want to tape it off, because I can paint them right and not worry about trying to make an even line. So the big florals will go along the border, and we'll take off that tape, and we'll have a cool design with our fingers crossed. So, okay, let's put another quick little coat of pink for the background, and then we're going to paint our bunny. And I had to go kind of with Easter for this because it was a bucket, and that's kind of perfect for what the season is. I promised to go back and paint some St. Patrick's Day items, which that's coming up fast, but next week that's what I'll do. I'll do some little cute leprechaun or some fun little thing. Just using a big flat brush. I'm using my ordinary craft acrylics. I like to have you use whatever you have on hand so that you don't have to go out and spend a fortune to get started if you're not a painter. You could just get some primary colors and really get started. I've taken just a dark pink acrylic and I lightened it up with pink. I want to put some maybe polka dots, big polka dots, or egg shapes in the background just to give it a little something. And I just thought I would get this little prep work done for you so that we could get into the fun part of painting the bunny, because you could do any sort of background you want in something like this. And I'm gonna I'll keep turning it so that you can see what I'm doing. It's awkward today because it's kind of a big item, but I'm gonna keep painting it, and I'll paint upside down the best I can. And so we have just got a little outline of our bunny. Like I said, if you just joined me, I did a couple coats of gesso just on the middle of this galvanized bunny and taped off the edges. So that's where we are now. Hello, Pam, and hey, Jill. Thank you, guys. I know I'm going to try to get that a little bit easier to see. And sometimes I come to you with a dual screen. I didn't want to even jeopardize anything today with getting on here. I'm just happy to be with you all. So thank you for being here as well. We have our little bunny, and I'm going to paint him probably white. He'll show up nice on the pink background. I want to do something in the background besides just the flowers along the bottom. So I think I will take my pink, same pink paint I used here, only mixed with white. I'm going to mix a little bit more with white, and I'm going to paint some circle shapes. I'm not going to worry about them being perfect. I'm not going to trace them on. I'm just going to use a flat brush, and I'm going to just make some circle shapes. And they can vary in size, and that one actually came out like an egg shape. Maybe an egg shape might be kind of cool. I'm just going to go along and see what we get. Just so that it's not just a plain pink background, but if you prefer a little bit less busy, you can certainly paint a little plainer background. So some of them are turning out sort of egg shaped, some a little bit circle. I'm not worrying about it. I'm not going to paint anything here because I'm going to do those like a little flower crown. The bunny that I painted last week, that little wood cutout, did you see that on last week's session? I have that handy. I'll show you what that looks like. Now we just have 15-minute segments, as you know here. It's a little quick. So I will probably come back and maybe finesse this a little bit if I need to, as far as shapes and things. But you get the idea of just a little bit something in the background. And I'm going to just rinse off my brush. With acrylics, you know, sometimes things are a little bit harder to cover. You might need 2 coats. When you're on a surface shiny and slick and hard like the galvanized metal or a glass, for instance, paint tends to chip off quicker. So you really don't want to go and put that second coat on until your first coat is dry. Otherwise, you're just wiping off that first coat. Good morning, Sissy and Cindy. Cindy's Creations, thank you for being here. I think I want to give them a little bit of an outline, just a little something fun. I might take a little liner brush, which just is a detail brush, but it has just a little bit longer brush. And I'm going to, when I'm doing any kind of detail work like this, I do thin the paint down a bit. That way it'll flow nice for me. Sometimes you think, oh, I can't paint a straight line, but really you just need the paint at the right consistency. You need the right brush and a very light touch. So practice is your friend, and it's not something I want to outline perfectly and have just right. I'm just going to give it a little bit of outline. Thank you, Jessica. Red is very appreciated. I just think a little bit of a white outline just to add a little bit something to that background. And I apologize when this is kind of away from you, but you get the idea. And if you have any questions, you guys, hey, Kit and Anna Maria, listen, leave me comments and questions here. If I don't see them as they scroll by, I will certainly come back afterwards and answer them for you. We are in March now, which I can't believe, and we have Easter coming up at the end of the month, which seems kind of like it's going to be here any time now. I'm just doing this sort of loose. Sometimes if I paint, I like to paint a little loose, a little not really defined, and that allows me to not worry about things. If I'm painting stripes, if I don't measure and do them perfectly exact, and I just kind of do them a little rougher, your eyes not expecting to see it perfect. So I rather go a little looser, a little more fun, and I think I might just take and make some little commas in the middle there. It actually looks like bubble gum to me, which is kind of cool because you would maybe put some bubble gum in the Easter basket. So just for something for background for our bunny. So let's jump in and start our bunny. It could be as simple or as detailed as you want. I want it to have a little more detail than just flat paint. And when I want to make a painted object look three-dimensional, you know, probably have seen me before. I give a little bit shadow, a little bit of highlight to make it look a little more three-dimensional. We're doing a white bunny, so I'm going to just take a little bit of a blue, gray, just for my shadows. And he's going to have a big bow tie, so he's not really going to have much of a shadow under his chin. Let me pull up. I have a couple of reference photos, and I actually am going to go by my bunny that we painted. So let me put that here for a little bit. I can kind of see where I need a shadow. So we've just got the base coat of the gesso there. I know I need a little bit of a shadow. The ears are going to have some pink in the middle, but I might put a little bit of a shadow here and here. I don't want it to look just like a line like that, so while it's wet, I'll just smudge it a little bit. And I might even take some white on my brush if I need to kind of move that around. So all I'm doing is creating a little shadow upside down behind the ears. The inside of the ear, again, will have pink, so we don't have to worry about that. I put a little shadow. The nose is going to be about here. So I have an idea where my nose is going to go. So I want to put a little shadow there around the nose, little pink nose, little cute bunny nose, and under like the little bridge of the nose, and under the little mouth. So you can see the little lines. I've lightly painted with blue where I want a shadow. I'll keep my brush dried off. I'm not rinsing it. I'll go into more white and just soften it like I did with that ear. It's just so that it doesn't look outlined. So I'm just really just softening those little bits with some white paint. We have a white bunny, so we can't really do much about a white highlight. So what I will do maybe is just now, very light, practically white, but just a little gray. I'm going to brush it here and there on the blue, precisely so I could go over and throw some highlights of white. So I'm just going to make him a little bit bluer. I may put little rosy cheeks on him. That might be good too. So I know he looks a little bit odd, but that's a little way to give a little shadow, and then we can go back now and highlight. Just so we know where they are, let's get that little center of the ears in pink. I can't stop looking at this and thinking bubblegum. And it might not be as precise because I'm doing this kind of upside down so you can see it. And if you had just joined in, you might not have heard that I just had some, again, a couple of years ago, I was hacked on my personal page and completely lost access to my business account through that. Luckily, I have a good friend and my husband on my page, so I am able to create a new profile and get in there, which is not ideal because now I've lost all the friends on my list and everything saved on my page. But I got in to be with you today, which I'm thrilled about, and so I'm a little bit, you know, I didn't have my whole big setup, but I think you can see a little bit what I'm doing now. I'm going to make a little pink nose where his little, like a little triangle really. I might skip to a little smaller brush for that. Little pink nose I'm going to introduce more colors when I get to the little floral crown. Put a little pink nose, pink on the inside of the ears. I might go now, just dry my brush off, not really washing it, into the deeper pink, just the darker pink. And on the outside edge of the nose, a little shadow there. So it's just a little darker. I may do a little darker on the edge of this ears. And it just gives you just a little perception of depth there. Eyes, I like to get my eyes in early on my animals or people if I'm painting them. It gives them a little personality. And so I love to give blue eyes to this guy. So let me get some eyes in there. I might keep that facing forward because they're going to look like Marty Feldman eyes if I paint them upside down. So let's see. I just pretty much paint the iris blue. I go pretty dark so that I can add some light blue highlight. And then I do a black pupil. And so I'm just painting in little eyeballs. Kind of big because when you paint something younger or cuter, you go with bigger eyes than, you know, it would ordinarily be. And I'm just trying to do them kind of even, but I'm thinking I'm a little too far down there. Bunny's eyes, sometimes I have going right over the side of their face. All right, I'm going to even them off now because this one is enormous compared to the other. That's what I get for like not paying attention and talking too much. So his eyes are going to be even bigger than I planned, so maybe even a little alien-like, but you'll get the idea. So, two big blue eyes. They're very dark. I'm going to lighten them. Again, I paint dark to light a lot of times in order to get the different values and have something look shaded and highlighted and give it form. But I'm going to put a big pupil in the middle of that eye. Most of the eye actually is pupil, even though I painted it blue. I'm going back now with the black. A lot of times on these little creatures, I put the glasses on them, which is fun. And if you saw that the little one I painted on Craft Around the Clock for our, I took a little Dollar Tree cutout, and I actually bought a pair of reading glasses and just glued them on. So I do have fun adding glasses to my little whimsical animals and things, which is always kind of cool. Or the flower crowns, which we will add. I'm going to take a very light blue now. And I'm just going to make a little half moon shape inside on the eye around the pupil. It will make it stand out a little more. You'll see it in 1 second. I might even lighten it up some again. So you can see that little half moon there. And the most important part is when you get some nice white highlights, and that just makes the eye look shiny, and it just really brings life to. I've seen so many times something's lacking, and you know what it is? It's just simply lacking a little highlight in the eye. I'm going to just put a little, almost a little dot, like a little dot almost going into a comma stroke, and I think I'll take a little white, and over that little half moon, I'm going to just give a little highlight there too. And there's the eyes. Now we'll just add a little, we won't do too much for eyelashes or anything, but there's a little eye. And I will simply put a little black line on the top of the eye to finish it off. And I'll show you what I do about whiskers. I don't like to make whole lines of whiskers coming out at angles. It just looks kind of fake, or I don't know, weird. So I do very light little broken lines for whiskers in like a light gray rather than black. So let me put a little line on the top of the eyes, and then we're going to do a few little whiskers. Actually, we'll give a little highlight and make it look a little furry with some white highlights too. But for the eyes, I'm simply going to start down on the inner edge and just go out and almost go right over the eye there to the outside. And I only do the top. I don't need to outline the bottom. I thought these were a little wonky big eyes, but I'm kind of liking them. All right. Now, we have that mottled kind of look where the white fur has that blue. Let's go in and just give it some white little bits of fur shapes. I'm going to just use a little flat brush. I'm going to use the chisel edge, but you could certainly use a liner of any sort. I'm doing well. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really was worried I wouldn't get to see you this week, as I had to cancel the other day my regular segment. So I am just going to take my chisel edge and just bring up like little white strokes that are going to look a little bit like fur. And I'm actually going to grab a little heavier paint. I'm going to have a little bit of a heavier body paint so you can see it. And I'm just bringing up little, I'm not worrying here really too much because it's going to have that flower crown, but I'm just bringing out just so it looks a little furrier. And again, you could have certainly gone with just your little liner brush and done the same thing, bring out just a little fur texture. You guys have probably seen me paint animals before. Right up over the ear there. And just give it a little texture. I usually do that right over the whole little bunny. I'm just gonna give it a little texture of fur, just with little strokes of white over that little bit of gray. And I'm just going with the shape of the bunny. So here on the cheek, I'm just kind of going around this way. It's almost, you don't see it, but it's breaking up that little bit of blue that we sort of scumbled on there. And take a little bit of the light blue and just give a little shadow if I think it needs it here and there. Needs it a little more into the chin. We have a little face for our guy. Don't think I will do blushed cheeks. I think he's okay without it. And for a light gray, I'm going to mix a little bit of black into my gray. Maybe a little blue too. If you know me, I don't like using just black and white gray. I like to have some blue in there. Maybe use a Payne's gray mixed with white. Just so it's not that dull black gray. It is going to have a little color to it. So I'm really thinning it down. I'm using a little liner brush, which a liner brush again is just has a longer tip. And I don't want to just go straight out, straight up, straight down and have whiskers. I want them to be a little bit more shaped. So I will start and I'll kind of just make them zigzaggy and broken lines rather than a solid line. I don't know why, but it seems to just have a better look to me. And you can even do a few little dots if you want. Let's show you what that looks like. So it's just, can you see they're just a little bit up and down? So we got our little bunny in best we can, and now I really want to have fun with making some flower crown and flowers along the bottom. This background with the big bubble gums could have just been simply polka dots. You could do polka dots with the back end of your brush, or even the little round stenciling brushes. Just dab it in and go around. That's a nice quick way of making polka dots too. And I'm gonna move my other painting there. And let's do some floral doodads on his head. So I need to get a little bit of greenery in there so that I can put the flowers on top. And actually standing was better for me to paint there. So I'm gonna get some green paint. And usually when I do anything, like I said a little while ago, I start pretty dark and get lighter. So let me just get a dark green here. I'm just gonna mix up some of my phthalo green and some black. Just any dark green you have. Forest green. And I need a place to put this little crown. Oh, we have a little bow tie. We'll do that too when we do the crown. So what I do when I need to put a little bit of floral somewhere, I just make little marks, little brush strokes that almost look like leaves. And I want that to kind of come down around his ears and kind of drape down a little bit. So the trick is to do it dark to begin with, and then I'm going to go to a middle shade of green, and then even a lighter shade of green. But I want to do, that's why I taped this down, I want to do a really nice fun border of loose, big loose florals across the bottom here. And with the tape, I don't have to worry about my marks going onto the galvanized. I really want to use the galvanized metal here, so I need a nice surface of green. Although once I peel that tape off, it might be fun to put like a few stray leaves coming down on top of that. So we will revisit that when we peel off the tape, which will be fun. not loving the big polka dots right now, but oh, Rita, I'm on because I did a workaround of creating yet another new personal page. So I have a personal page with none of my friends or all my saved things and all my photos again and all my memories. Hoping I can get in, but to be honest, there's no help around for anyone on this platform because, you know, they don't really care, I guess. But anyway, enough complaining about that. So there we are. There's our green. While that dries, let's put a bow tie on our little guy. I'm thinking something teal maybe. And some dark teal. Teals are fabulous. I love teal. And I have so many, they do have beautiful colors if you want to buy all, you know, the different colors in the craft paints. But like I said, I do mix a lot too. So don't always think you have to buy a lot. I'm going to start with a darker kind of, it's almost like an emerald green, but I do want to get it into a teal. Big bow tie, and we can put polka dots on that bow tie if we want. Getting a little bit of a bow tie there. Remember, you could make these guys your own too. You could put a beret on his head. You could put the glasses, like I said. You could do all sorts of things, really, to make it your own. I'd love to see when you're doing some painting. Please post them. We'd share them. We'd love to see what you're working on too. And there, it's coming. I cannot wait to tear off that tape. That is like the most fun part of the whole process. I'm going to simply get a lighter green now, adding more yellow to the green we had there. Just something lighter. Middle shade. We'll go to a little slightly darker again after. And I'm going to do just what I did already. I'm just going to go and just, some of that dark will still show through, but I'm going to have another layer of lighter green. I'm not really being real careful. I just know I want it on top. I want it coming off of it a little bit by itself. The less you think about it, the better off you are. And I'm going to do the same thing down below here. And really, a lot of the greenery is not even going to be seen after we do our florals on there, but we still want to get that middle shade of green just almost, just dabbed in there, and then sometimes brought up as a leaf shape. If you have trouble with your green or you're using a lot of yellow and it's very transparent, you can't see it, just add a tiny, tiny touch of white to it and it will be more opaque. A lot of the acrylic paints, yellows, oranges are very transparent. So adding a tiny touch of white really helps. All right, so let's go and shade our little bow tie. Even something simple as that, I do want to put a little shadow and a little highlight in there just to make it have some 3-dimension. And hello, Kathy and Michelle. Amanda, thank you guys and welcome. I will go back and read the comments afterwards. The shading on the little bow tie doesn't have to be very much, but we know we have the little knot in the middle, so we will just give a little shadow around that knot. Already it looks a little more like it has some shape. I will take some of that dark green and maybe pull some out just so it has some texture there. And if we want to have it a bow tie that has a little bit of a bow tie, you can always just make this sort of shape there and make it look like it's got that little 2 ribbons going across. So there's that, and I have to add polka dots because I do love them. We'll do smaller polka dots in the background. Don't be surprised if you come back and I finish it and I have taken those big pink ones off. We'll have to look at it and see. It's just, I don't know if I like it or not. We'll have to decide on that. I think while I'm thinking of it, a little white highlight in the nose, just a little comma on her little nose. Acrylic painting is great because you can go back at any time and add more. If I find out my little highlight kind of fades away, I go back and I put it brighter and pop it, and it really pops. Hi, Lisa. Me too. I'm so glad. Sandy, thank you for watching. You could also do with that little gray that we used for the whiskers. Sometimes I put a few little whiskers coming up, few little hairs coming up there. Little things I think of as I'm going along. Okay, polka dots on our bow tie. You could do it, like I said, different ways. You could take, you know, I could take the back end of my X-Acto knife, whatever's the right size. I think the back end of a brush here is perfect. I dip it right into my paint. I could have gone with just a lighter teal. I'm going with white. Great way to make little dots. Sorry about my hand in the middle there. I don't know what that looks like yet, but let's take a look. And little polka dotted tie. I could go afterwards when those heavy white dots are dry and almost put a little watery, a little bit of a wash over where the shading is, so it kind of recedes it a little bit there. But this is kind of really a fun little piece. Let's deepen his little mouth. Let's go with a little darker blue, or even that gray we were using, and make that little line under his nose. He's looking very serious. I'm going to deepen up those few little lines that we did up here. And so can you see the little lines now define his little mouth? You could bring them up even more like this and make it more like of a little smile or a little smirk, or it's kind of a small little detail. It's not something you have to really worry about. And now the fun part is getting that crown. Flowers could be, loose florals could be super easy. You do not have to do petals and centers and all that. You're going to just go ahead. I'm going to get some red to start. Maybe even like, I don't want to go dark as maroon, but let me get some red into that pink so it's darker. Again, starting dark, adding midtones, and then adding highlights. And really, I'm going to just add sort of ovally circle shapes that are going to be these flowers. They have to be a little smaller on his head, but I think I can go bigger down here. And I kind of have them hanging over the edge, so we're not going to see some of it. I can make it a little bigger here, and then I can just go half off here. I'll put some other colors. These are going to end up sort of being pink, but I'm starting red so that it's a little darker. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You can see how rough I'm doing them. It does not have to be, like I say, you're painting individual petals and things. You're going to make these look like big, loose, abstract roses. And I just want to get lighter now, so I'll just take that, get a little smaller brush, and now I need a lighter shade. So I might go just into the pink. And I'm really just going to go around, take my pink, maybe start in the middle, and you can almost spiral out. It's just, I'm making marks with my brush and dabbing out over the edge of that initial dark circle. It could be like a little petal coming over. Same with these guys. I really am, look at how rough and upside down I'm doing them, but they're gonna come out looking like little flowers. And this is the mid-tone. I'm gonna still go back and make it even a little brighter. I do sort of spiral. I sort of start and then just dab and push the brush down as I go around, leaving a little bit of that dark showing. And I'm going to use the same brush. I'm just going to add a little, a coffee can, Sandy, would be great for holding your brushes and things too. I'm going to use the same pink with a little white in it so I can get a little bit lighter. And here's where if it doesn't show up enough, you just go and add more white. You can go back at the end and add just white highlights. We might even throw a little teal in there. You can really do whatever you like. Now, it's really pretty wet still, so I'm still going to go with my lighter color. I might not have to go back, actually. I'm going mostly with just white now because it's picking up so much pink there that's wet. Just dabbing that white in there and just going around. Let's do it on the little crown. Sometimes I just take and just do a little dab here and there. It could be like a little bud. And let's go and finish up these guys. And I will urge everyone again, only because it's been such a week, is in the comments and in the description is the link to my paid, no, not paid for you guys. I pay for a platform to keep my community separate from here so that in case something like this happens where I lose my page, I can still find you guys. And I do lots of classes and things over there, just a little free community. It's the link is there, and I'd love for you to pop on. That way if you lose me here, you know where to find me. And now that it's a little dry, I may go back with a few little white highlights here and there. What does it look like? It looks like really rough little flowers, but it's kind of fun. And I'm just brightening it up a little bit just by some straight white. And now let's get a little bit of maybe some yellow flowers and things mixed in, making them sort of the same way. You could certainly go and make some with some quick little petals if you wanted, but I'm going to just take like a yellow ochre. It's kind of a dark gold, because I want to get a little bit more than just the pink. There's a lot of pink going on here. So I'm going to just kind of dab in a little bit of yellow ochre. It's like a darker gold. And here and there. And I think I will bring some more leaves out a little further on this border, now that I've kind of covered a lot of it up. So let's set for a minute, and then we're just going to take some really light yellow over it. But I do want to get some really light little petals. So I think I'll take my little square brush again and get a really light, kind of almost like a lime green here, but with a little white in it so that it shows up. Because I want to have some little greens, lighter bits here and there. And just whatever shades now I want to show. I've kind of got this kind of low. I want to bring these little leaves right up into the background here. I might want to bring a few of these trailing down more. Right on top of that little bubblegum piece. And then just little bits of different shades. So on my palette, I'm just mixing lots of colors together without thinking about it. I just put it on and see, oh, it's a different color than what I have. Good. And I layer on top. I'm not worried about painting right on top of something I just painted. I'm layering it, and it gives it more of a look of like a bouquet. Okay, I'm going to mix up some bright pink and add some bright pink into those flowers because they do look a little dark still. The fabulous thing about acrylic paints, because you can just keep going back and adding little touches of things. Karen, do not worry, this is recorded always, so you will find it on Craft Round the Clock here, and you'll also find it on my page, so you're never late and you never miss anything because everything is recorded, which is great. So if I see that these are a little dark, I might go and get a little more pink in them. That's what I'm going to do on these bottom bits right here. I'm just going to add little bits of pink too. And a lot of it is stepping back and just looking at what you've painted and is there anything that you need, because you can always add. There's something you don't like, you can even just paint over it. So it's really, acrylic is really forgiving. And I've got those little bits of gold here, and I just want to lighten them up. So I'm going to just dab in some lighter yellow. These are even smaller than those little ones that are looking like little roses, but just a dark, middle, and light, and even if you're just simply dabbing it on like this, that works. You can see how quick, and I'm hardly paying attention because I'm really doing it from the side and upside down. You can add little dots in there. I think I'll add a few little white bits. Maybe just take some white, and I might make just a few little petals that might just be peeking out from behind something. So if I just take some plain white and I just sort of make little petals. So I'm just making little lines really, just in towards the center, just a few little lines here and there. Same down here, I could just put little, and can you see how that's almost like maybe little baby's breath or something peeking out from behind? And it's not a lot of thought put into it. I'm layering it on top of the leaves even. There. Oh, let's see. Oh, Gail, thank you. I have a blast doing it. I really have fun. And I'm just happy to be here today with you guys. What does everyone got going on for the weekend? It's Friday, so happy weekend. And I have a really kind of fun event tomorrow. Watch my page if it's still there. I'm going out to a nature preserve. I'm here in Florida. It's called Tiger Creek Preserve. And we're going to go down out 1 hour into the swamp on one of those big swamp buggies, and then we're going to paint for 2 hours and then back out again. So I am a big plein air painter. I love painting outdoors. I have not painted in the middle of a swamp yet, so stay tuned, and I will keep you guys all posted. That will keep you guys informed. All right, so what have we here? Let me just take a little look. You know how I say you have to look from afar sometimes. He's looking like he's got a little bit more on one cheek, because I really just sketched him on kind of quick, so I can always make, you know, even out his little face here. I think it's okay for now. I do want to give myself a little highlight on my bow tie. Those dots are still wet, they're so thick, but I'm going to mix up just a little lighter shade of that teal, just to give a little highlight, like around the edge of the bow, and along here where this would go behind. They're just little touches. They're not super important, but I always think I like to finish off everything just with a little extra touch. So it didn't do much, but you can certainly see how that little bit of those lines on the bow just added a little something. You can see this is a little wider cheek, so I can fix that other side. We do quite a bit in 45 minutes here, don't you think? Oh, Vicky, I'm not too far from Tampa. I'm in Lakeland, and I do lots of online things, but you guys, I know there's a lot of you in my area here. I'm going to do some in-person things when I can get myself a little more organized. Let's tear off that tape, because I'm dying to see what it looks like. We do have a whole 4 minutes, and sometimes I might even want to, because you see me do this. Okay, let's finish up, and oh, but wait, let's add this one thing. If I want to have these little trailing bits of this crown, I could just make almost like little vines too coming down, which is kind of cool. If you are interested in learning how to paint a little more, you're a crafter, not much of a painter yet, and you'd like to learn, I do teach absolute beginners, you guys, in my lessons and in my membership. I give you a tracer and we go step by baby step. I also just put all of my classes from my membership on my website, and you can buy them individually and see if you like how I teach and see what kind of classes are offered. So tinkerscardart.com, go under Learn to Paint, and I have all the classes marked half off at the moment, and all you need to do is put code 50 in and give it a try. I want to see you jumping into painting. So this was, like I said, it was covered up, but it was a beautiful brand new galvanized metal, except it had a little farmhouse saying on the front. I didn't want to paint the whole thing. I really wanted to leave some of the metal showing, which is cool. So let's tear this off, get the big reveal here. And you can mask off with tape. When I do some fabric painting on the back of the denim jackets, for instance, I'll tape off. If I'm doing a tote bag, I'll tape off where I'm painting. It does make it a little bit easier. I will continue this around this other side, perhaps. I did tear the tape off, but I can retape it. But here you get the whole look. Now, you could personalize this with a name, with a white paint marker or something if you wanted across the top. It'd be an awful cute Easter basket. My other thought was to put in some of the grass, and I don't know how it would look. Maybe the colors won't go, but I was thinking a little arrangement of these Dollar Tree carrots coming out if it wasn't being used as an Easter basket. These little carrots, I'm going to finish painting this one. I'm going to paint it a little bit like this wooden Dollar Tree carrot. Also the big, the porcelain. So I paint the orange, I paint all the little dots. These white ones I've just underpainted so I could have a light color. But I think this, maybe not all painted, but this one, and then a little burlap. They have burlap ones. They have them painted with a little green gingham and polka dots. Might be kind of fun. I know that orange is clashing a bit with the pink. Now you could paint some pink carrots, which would be cool. Or I could add a little orange into my design to make that all kind of be a little more cohesive. But I think that these would be fun sitting in there as just part of your, I wanted to say Halloween, your Easter decor. I don't know why I'm stuck on Halloween still. Thank you guys so much again. And we have repurposed buckets all day long. So after I am done, the new creator will come right on. You may have to refresh your page to see them. Be sure to follow Craft Round the Clock. There's a description, link in my description and a link here in the comments, and you will have crafting every day, different crafters every 45 minutes. It's a fabulous group. The community is amazing, and you will learn so many cool new things. Or I just like to listen sometimes. If I'm driving, I'll even listen. I'm popping off. See you guys next week.